Meeting of the Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors to order. Supervisor Hanfeld, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ladies and gentlemen, we live in the greatest country in the world. It's an honor to lead you as we salute our flag and honor our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone. Is that point in time where we will have oral communication? The public may speak on any item not on the printed agenda. No action may be taken by the board, and that does mean no conversation by the board. Can I see a show of hands of how many people would like to speak under just one? All right, please come forward.
Morning, I'm David Peters from Twain Harte. I'll make this short and sweet. I want to express my appreciation for the board having meetings in the future in regards to the cannabis situation in the evening instead of the morning, so that people who are at work can attend those meetings and give their input. I appreciate that. I was on the high school Board of Trustees for 22 years. I know evening meetings are not the most fun thing in the world, but they're necessary for people who need to give input from the community. So I appreciate that, and I would like to request that continue, and that with Mr. Evan, well, with Evan, I called him Evan, but Supervisor Evan, if any meetings that he has with the Cannabis Association or anybody else regarding that, if those could also be scheduled so that we can have input on those, I'd appreciate it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Well, since there was only one person, I would like to once again commend the Sheriff's Department for participating in an event most likely involving a mental health person where it was resolved peacefully and without violence. And we should be very proud in our community as opposed to our neighboring county where we don't shoot and kill people who are in crisis. And it's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Thank you, Carol. All right. Any other oral communication? Okay.
I'm sorry, what? I'm not sure that I have this sitting here highlighting what I think we should talk about when it comes up. We have an item that was brought up to me and just within the last day from TUD that is for a hazard mitigation grant application, and we're asking that your board would add it to the agenda. It needs to be in before November 1st, so it would give your board time to consider it and then provide a letter of support to TUD for the application.
I'm looking for consensus.
Yep.
All right, so we will make that item 12A.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, will the clerk please read the consent calendar?
Minutes of the meeting held October 3rd, 2017. Finding that a summary of ordinance number 3319 and 3320 were published. Adopting a resolution continuing the local state of emergency required by the California Emergency Services Act, Article 14, Section 8630C due to pervasive tree mortality. Ratifying the decision of the Community Resources Agency Director to award the contract to TNS Intermodal Maintenance to perform the work for the Jackson Street Yankee Hill Road construction project, approving a standard agreement for professional services with Mark Thomas and Company for services associated with the design of the bridge and roadway of the Wards Ferry Road crossing Deer Creek Bridge replacement project. Ratifying the decision of the Community Resources Agency Director to award a contract to Trisdale Corporation of California, Inc. to perform work regarding the construction contract of Jacksonville Road Jacksonville Road Bridge Preventative Maintenance Project, and approving plans inspection bid book number 1681 for the Tuolumne Park and Ride Facility Project.
Thank you. Is there any items that a member would like pulled? Is there any public comment?
Madam Chair, I move we approve the consent calendar.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Supervisor Gray, a second by Supervisor Hanfeld. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Supervisor Royce absent. Will the clerk please read item 8?
Consideration of adopting a resolution proclaiming October 2017 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Tuolumne County.
If, oh, we welcome you.
And thank you for having me today. My name is Calais Brown, and I am the I'm a little nervous, Direct Services Coordinator at Center for Nonviolent Community. And we provide services to victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. And today we are asking that you consider October to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And there's a couple of reasons why we want our community to know why this is important. It's not just declaring a month to it, it's community awareness of the sort of importance that I want to emphasize today. So in the last year's time, we provided over almost 3,000 services to over 600 clients in 1 year. That means that about 300 people bravely called into our crisis line, and about 300 people bravely accepted our services to support them through a very traumatic time for themselves. And this is just domestic violence. This doesn't include human trafficking or sexual assault. I just want to show you briefly sort of what that means. So these are the over 3,000 services that were requested of us by your community. This happened in Tuolumne County by Tuolumne County residents. And that's only a partial piece of that. And those are about 25 services per page. That was in 1 year. So that's what's actually happening in Tuolumne County. And that is also why we would like to continue to provide these services, but to bring awareness to our community. We are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we respond to anywhere in our county and often sometimes outside the county. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yes.
So I have just a quick comment, and then I'm going to let the board speak. I know they would like to. First of all, you're open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Can you provide a contact number or how people would reach out to you?
So we have an emergency crisis line, and it's 533-3401. You can also Google it. We come up pretty quickly.
And I would just like to add that I appreciate you being here. This is important, and I know that you operate with a tremendous amount of volunteers, and please thank them for all of the work they do.
I will. Thank you.
No.
Yes, Supervisor Brennan covered one of the questions I had about how your staff works, but could you explain a little bit how you're funded for your
Sure.
services?
We're basically funded 3 ways. We're funded state, national, and then local. So what that means is that we say we're going to provide this many services, and the state and federal give us money to do that. But those only cover very specific things. So we also do a lot of fundraising, which I think is really important because it shows that our community thinks what we're doing is important, and they come to provide and offer money to us so that we can provide services that the grants don't fund. And those are really important because the grants are very specific. So if we want to support a family in moving forward in a way that the grants don't cover, our local community will step up and offer financial help to help that family.
Thank you.
Supervisor.
So just a question. You talked about fundraising. Do you do like regular fundraisers, or do you do fundraisers specific to a specific need if you need to do that, or do you do both? And if you do regular fundraisers, when's your next big one?
Thank you for asking. Wow, wish I'd brought my little plate. Maybe I could have gotten some money. We have one coming up that we do every year that I bet everyone in this room, if you live in Tuolumne County, has actually received. It's a mail out that we do, and it will give you a testimonial from a client and talk about exactly what I just brought to you. And it comes in the mail around the holidays, and it asks for your support. That one we do every year and have been doing for as long as I can remember. I bet some of you may have received it in the mail. And then we also, another great one that we found very important is we'll put up wish lists on our website, and it will be like shampoo, brushes, razors, that sort of thing. And that's one that everyone can participate in because it's something you can tangibly, you might even have in your house.
So website.
www.nonviolentcommunity.org.
Thank you.
Thanks for the reminder.
Thank you very much for all the information. Supervisor.
Yeah, I just want to thank you and your staff for what you do. Clearly, by the questions that have been asked about how you do fundraising things, not enough is known about you.
Yes.
So
unfortunately, the grants don't pay for advertisements that much, so it's
but
things like this that really help
but
that
look,
are free.
it's an important thing, and it's something we don't like to talk about. There's stigma associated with domestic violence, for instance.
And the silence.
But it's rampant, and we all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, your statistics show that, and I just want to say thank you for that. And you mentioned something else that's near and dear to my heart, is human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another one we don't talk about, but it is here. It's rampant in our society. It's rampant in California.
It is.
And it's both labor and sex trafficking. And RCRC's got a big program, and they are coming to Tuolumne County soon. I'll see if I can't get you guys on the list for training
Yes.
on recognizing human trafficking. It's a big deal. So I want to just say thank you. You're providing important service to the community, and most people don't know about it, so this is a good thing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Before I ask for a motion.
I got one last one. Just an invitation. Anytime you are, but right before you do your mail out, come back, public comment. It's a good way to get the word out.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Write that down, boss.
So at this time, I'd like to ask if there's any public comment.
I have one other comment to say before we end. I just want to also remind folks and thank our community members. So what is a beautiful relationship is that we couldn't do our job of supporting clients if law enforcement, district attorney, victim witness, hospital employees, the board didn't support what we were doing. So they can do what they're really good at, and we can support the client through their trauma. It's a beautiful relationship that we have worked hard over the years to facilitate. We also have representatives here from MIWA to support us in this proclamation today, and so we're thrilled to have them, and many of our community members. So thank you, law enforcement. Ginger's here from Victim Witness, and we get calls from the hospital too, so that's great.
Well, I'm happy to see the Center for Nonviolent Community here because I haven't been here for a couple of years, and I just love Calais, and she was probably the first person who became my friend when I moved here. But I would like to change the conversation a little bit. I thought the resolution was nice, but it's a little passive for my taste. Because even when we use language unintentionally, it shapes our frame of reference and steers the conversation. So we talk about in the conversation, like how many women were raped last year, not about how many men raped women. We talk about how many girls in a school district were harassed last year, not how many boys harassed girls. We talk about how many teenage girls got pregnant last year, rather than how many men and boys impregnated teenage girls. So you can see how the passive voice has a political effect. It shifts the focus off of men and boys and onto women and girls. And even the term violence against women is problematic. It's passive construction There's no active agent in the sentence. It's a bad thing that happens to women, but when you look at that term, violence against women or domestic violence or gender violence, nobody is doing it to them. It just happens to them. Men aren't even a part of it. And what we need to do is change the conversation and talk about the perpetrators. And we need people in power to speak up and diminish the status for being an abusive person. And I think we need to have some conversations that revolve around perpetrators and not necessarily the victims. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Good morning, Ginger Martin. I'm the Victim Witness Coordinator in the District Attorney's Office. And I just wanted to say and remind everyone that we are great collaborators with the Center for Nonviolent Community. Victim Witness also provides services for domestic violence victims. In the first 9 months of this year, we've provided over 236 victims of crime that are solely domestic violence. That includes parents of homicide victims, victims that were killed by their perpetrator in a domestic violence, assault with deadly weapons, false imprisonment, kidnapping, all of those charges surrounding domestic violence. And that's between 3 of us in the office, and we couldn't do that without our partnerships with the Tuolumne Band of Miwok, Social Services Department, and the Center for Nonviolent Community. All of our services are provided through law enforcement referrals, and so our partnership with both law enforcement agencies is huge, and we'd like to also acknowledge them. Thank you.
Can I make one comment about especially what Carol said? I think it is important, and maybe I feel like because I just don't want to waste your time or I want to be quick to make it, sort of happen, is that we absolutely want to make sure that we provide women to our services to our entire community, and that means men, women, children. What we're discovering is that there are lots of men victims out there and that they're really struggling to come forward because of a lot of reasons. And so our services are fully provided by that. But even going further than that, our hope in the future is to provide whole families, whole services, because trauma is trauma. And in our opinion, it doesn't matter where it comes from, it just needs to help. It needs to be addressed, and we need to support people through it. Sometimes you're the perpetrator and sometimes you're the victim, but most likely you were a victim at some point. So that is our goal in moving forward as well, is to support people wholly in their trauma.
Thank you. I'd like to bring it back to the board.
Quick question, Calais. Would you, based on those comments and those of Ms. Dowd, would you like us to rewrite this resolution, or I still want to declare it.
Well, the point is, though, is that it doesn't declare October to be Domestic Violence Month for women. It doesn't declare a gender.
Okay.
I would like to, at some point, maybe talk wholly about trauma in a community, but that is a much larger subject for another day.
Okay.
So thank you, though.
Then I'll move in favor of the
Second.
proclamation.
I have a motion from Supervisor Hanfeld, second from Supervisor Rotifer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Supervisor Royce absent. Thank you very much for that presentation. Will the clerk please read item 9?
Consideration of approving an appointment of Dr. Eric Emery as the new Behavioral Health Director for Tuolumne County.
Good morning,
Mr.
Madam
Boyack.
Chair, members of the board. Steve Boyack. I'm the Assistant Human Services Director, and for the last few months, your acting Behavioral Health Director. Before I make this presentation, I want your board to know that over the last few months, working directly with our behavioral health staff, all the way from line staff, our supervisors, through our managers, has been a complete delight to really work closely with them on nuts and bolts issues, understand our behavioral health programs in the depth that I do today, understanding what they mean to the citizens of this county and the clients they serve. It has been a complete pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity for allowing me to be acting director. So with the retirement of Rita Austin, a recruitment for the position of behavioral health director began in May of this year. At the conclusion of the recruitment, your board authorized staff to complete a reference check and extend a tentative offer to Dr. Eric Emery. Dr. Emery is here with us. He's sitting right in the front row. We'll have him come up in a moment. With your board's approval, Dr. Emery, his appointment as Behavioral Health Director would become effective today, October 17, 2017. If you'll indulge me a few moments, I would like to speak to you about his professional background. Dr. Emery has a long history of program development and program leadership and is widely recognized in the professional mental health and addictions communities for his work in crafting innovative programs for children and adults throughout the United States. He's worked in a lot of different places. The staff report goes into great detail about his work history. His career is one that is blended with administrative and clinically focused management of treatment programs in mental health, addiction, and co-occurring disorders. He co-founded and led both the Southern Ohio Family Institute with noted addiction psychiatrist David Brinson, I want to make sure I get that name right, and led the Family Institute of San Francisco. The two training and treatment institutes received national acclaim for their programs, including the High Risk Family Project in Appalachia, the Parents of Murdered Children's Project, the Families with Schizophrenic Member Project with the Ohio Department of Mental Health, the Marin High Risk Family Project, the Asian Immigrant and Refugee Project with noted psychologist Dr. Evelyn Lee. Dr. Emery is also widely accredited for being one of the principal architects for the California wraparound model. He trained at the Philadelphia Guild Guidance Clinic and at the Hahnemann Hospital and Medical College, and maintained a long collaboration and friendship with noted psychiatrist Dr. Carl Whitaker. Dr. Emery has a master's in social work from Western University in St. Louis and a PhD in family systems from Nova University in Florida. Dr. Emery also maintains a license as a licensed clinical social worker. And for the last 15 months, Dr. Emery has worked in Plumas County as their Deputy Director for Behavioral Health. The education and license and work experience outlined in the staff report make Dr. Emery well qualified for this position. I would like to add that his government and private sector references are very positive and speak well to his character, competence, and ability to work with others. So Dr. Emery will come on board starting. His base salary will be at range 584, step C. That's $141,585. His compensation package is outlined in the Tuolumne County Management Association compensation plan. So with that, it is staff's great pleasure and recommendation that your board appoint Dr. Eric Emery as the Behavioral Health Director for Tuolumne County with the compensation package outlined in the staff report effective today, October 17, 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Boyack. What I'd like to do is first ask if there's any questions and get through the process, and then introduce Dr. Emery to the public and give him a moment to speak. So first I'd ask if there's any board questions.
I think we asked Dr. Emery
I
a
think
lot
so.
of questions already.
I believe so. Is there any public comment?
Well, I would like to salute Mr. Boyack because I think he's done a pretty good job, or actually a great job, handling this department, because I'm sure I've grilled you on a number of occasions. So, and I'm really pleased that we hired someone, and I really hope that you'll do a good job, because we really need someone to do a good job in our community. We have a lot of issues here, and I would like to see you reach out to the community and meet with the mental health community and their families, because they have many needs.
Thank you. Any other public comment? There's no reason, no need
This
to
is
be
my
nervous.
friend Jackie, and she has something to say.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Roberson, and I've lived in this county for over 40 years. Okay. I have had 3 loved ones with mental health issues. The first go-around was my husband. I was quite young. He got very good care at that time. There were places for mental health patients then. He was in Modesto State Hospital for almost a year. I was pregnant. I asked the doctor, will my son be okay? He said, well, I don't know, ma'am. Well, my son was okay till he went to college at about age 19, living here in Tuolumne County. I pretty much, with my husband, put mental health in a drawer and stuffed it there. I wanted nothing to do with it. I did go into nursing school. I almost quit because I had to go to Napa State Hospital. Okay, I wanted nothing to do with it. Didn't want to read about it, didn't want to know about it. I was scared to death of it. And it wasn't until 15 years ago that I had a niece, Christina Roberson, who was working for mental health at the time, and she told me you need to go to NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Health, here in Tuolumne County. It was at that time, 15 years ago, that I started opening up my life, taking it out of the drawer and sifting through it. That time my son was going to St. Helena College, and he jumped 6 stories. He got very good care here in Tuolumne County at that time. There was a PUF unit at Tuolumne General. When they closed that unit, Sonora Regional guaranteed we'd have a place for people. I've been in nursing for many years, 50 years. I can tell you, they don't have a place for mental health patients, okay? I now have a son who's also dealing with bipolar in this county now, who, it's bad, okay? I could bring many letters to you. If you want letters, we hear stories every month behind the Red Church. Families struggling with loved ones that can't get mental health care. Have Medicare, they won't take you. Have Medi-Cal, they'll take you. Go see the television see the doctor. Well, then they're short, and the mental health patient's already in a crisis. Then they change their appointment, and they can't get their medicine. On and on it goes. So, I'm just here, Dr. Emery. Thank you for coming on board. I'm just representing one of many, many people here that are struggling big time in this county. Not just this county. This county has done their best, and I thank you, Board of Supervisors. I'm not putting this county down. I love this county. You've done the best you can do. But let me tell you, we need to do better. It's easier to get guns than it is to get mental health care in this country anymore.
So I first want to thank you for sharing your story. It's
I
important
also
for
have
us
a
to hear
letter.
that.
I wrote a letter from a friend of mine who wrote this letter. This is just a sample of many I could get for you folks. I'd like to read it. It's very short, and then I'll end, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. My name is Joseph Saxton. I have a close friend who has been suffering from severe mental illness for the past 20 years. In the last 5 years or so years, the sheriff has been called as many as 15 times because of her destructive behavior. In each case, they have been able to do nothing, citing it's not a crime to destroy your own home. Whenever she has been taken to the hospital voluntarily, all they have done is given her sedatives and released her sometimes in the middle of the night with no money to get home. It seems very unfair that with all the money being spent on projects to improve the quality of life for the majority of us, the mentally ill have to suffer. We live in the greatest country in the world. Shouldn't we take care of all of our citizens? And thank you very much.
No, thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it.
Jackie, I must say, my heart goes out to you and your family. And you can be rest assured that I will be working closely with Dr. Emery to make our program the best program it can be. I know there's gaps. We recognize gaps, and we will be working to fill those gaps.
And I think the board is in full support of that effort. So with that, I'd like to bring it back to the board.
Are we going to hire him before we hear from him?
I think that it would be, we've
Okay.
heard from
Then
him.
I move to approve the appointment of Dr. Emery as the Behavioral Health Director of Tuolumne County.
So I have a motion from Supervisor Rotifer, a second from Supervisor Gray. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And with that, I would like to introduce our new Behavioral Health Director, Dr. Eric Emery.
Welcome.
Thank you all. It's an honor to appear here today and to accept this position in the county. So if you have behavioral health has a level of complexity, and the issues both with addictions, co-occurring disorders, and mental health issues are a challenge both for law enforcement, the courts, and every system, including the hospitals. And so I believe it's important that we all work together and that we find ways to be able to listen, as the ladies had just talked about, to individual families. Everyone is affected by these issues. No one, in my experience, has a pass. And that I think it's important that my commitment is in following Mr. Boyack, who has very well led the system of care during a time of transition, that I will do my best every day to be able to listen and to be able to deliver the best services possible in providing service for the people of this county.
Thank you very much. We want to welcome you and your family, and
Thank you.
Very happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read item 10?
This is a second reading of an ordinance to add a new section 1504065 to the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code to establish expedited permit process for electric vehicle charging stations.
Mr. Oliver.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Doug Oliver, Chief Building Official. And coming right after such serious matters and going into your opportunities to spend money on behalf of the public, I'm honored to bring you such a light item to discuss. This shouldn't take very long at all. As you're aware, October 3rd, I brought to you the first reading. We asked you to waive it regarding this expedited permit process. Required by law, Assembly Bill 1236 mandated every city and county adopt an expedited permit process, and I was pleased the first time to come forward and say, good news, we're already doing that. We're still moving forward with streamlining our permit processes, this being what amounts to, in most cases, a simple electrical permit, especially for residential. Those can be issued over the counter. We do accept electronic applications now, and the larger projects now can sail through between 5-10 days. If they meet certain criteria, the state has provided us a wonderful checklist that can validate whether it can be expedited or not. So we are happy to be already implementing this well in advance of the requirement to adopt this ordinance. So if there are any questions, now's the time.
Any board questions? Is there any public comment?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Tanya Allen with the Supervising Engineer of the CRA. I just wanted to identify Supervisor Gray's comment at the first hearing looking at a charging station in Jamestown, and wanted to let you all know that staff reached out to the executive director of the TCTC, and we are looking at possibly writing some grants in order to make that happen. Okay?
Thank you. Right, seeing no other public comment, I'm going to bring this back to the board.
Move on staff recommendation. I'm sorry.
I have
I don't
a
think we
motion
do
by,
that.
excuse me?
You've got to recognize findings A through D.
Yeah.
I move on staff recommendation recognizing findings A through D.
Thank you. A motion by Supervisor Rotifer, a second by Supervisor Royce. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll change it up again next time, too, just to keep everyone on their toes. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Good catch. All right, will the clerk please read item 11?
This is consideration of ratifying the decision of the Community Resources Agency Director to award a contract to Steelhead Construction, Inc. to perform work for the Hardin Flat Road Bridge over South Fork Tuolumne River Replacement Project and increase appropriations in the Public Works Project Fund Hardin Flat Road X Tuolumne River by $667,189 and increase the revenue in the Public Works Project Federal Bridge HBP line item in the same amount.
Ms. Allen.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Tanya Allen, Supervising Engineer of the Community Resources Agency. This bridge, Hardin Flat, was substantially damaged in the 2013 rim fire. Staff applied for highway bridge funds in order to replace this bridge. I'm pleased to announce that we've actually had bids come in. As you know, on August 15th, we solicited for bids, and the county received 3 by Steelhead Constructors for $2.38 million, Viking Construction for $2.5, and Sierra Mountain Construction Incorporated for $2.7. The Federal Highways Administration guidelines identify competitive bidding for state and competitive competition to be considered adequate when the load bill does not exceed 110% of the engineer's estimate when 3 competitive bids are received. Also, a competitive bid is one that's within 120% of the low bid. While the low bid exceeds the engineer's estimate, the other bids are within 106 and 110% of the lowest bidder. Therefore, staff, taking into consideration of the remote location, we feel that this is a competitive bid. County Council has reviewed and reviewed the bid submitted by Steelhead Constructors and has determined that the bid documents are in substantial compliance with our call for bids. Bids were higher than what we were estimating, so as this item in front of you also is including an increase to our budget, in which this is 100% funded through the Highway Bridge Program. So it is recommended that your board ratify the decision to award the contract to Steelhead Constructors, as well as increase the appropriations and increase their revenues to the Public Works Fund project.
Thank you. Supervisor Bray.
Yes, I took a ride up to Hardin Flat just last week and looked at the bridge situation. And I think we're lucky there that we do have ways for the people on the other side of the bridge to get out. But my concern is how long I didn't read the whole document. How long do you expect this job to go on?
This is a one-season job, and I have Blossom Scottheim, who can explain more detail of that project schedule.
We expect the contractor to start in the spring, and we should be substantially complete roughly October of 2018.
All right, thank you.
Any other board questions? Sure. Any public comment? All right, I'm going to bring this back to the board, and you may have said this, but I just want to remind the public that this is one of those, this is the damage to this really was started in the rim fire. Is that correct?
Correct. We had a girder and some stringers burnt, and the abutment wall burnt, closed it to a one lane throughout the season. We worked with FEMA. However, we were able to work with Caltrans local bridge engineer, reducing the sufficiency rating, qualifying it for 100% reimbursement through the Highway Bridge Program.
Thank you. All right.
Madam Chair, I'll move on staff recommendations.
Second.
I have a motion from Supervisor Gray, a second from Supervisor Royce. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will the clerk please read item 12?
This is a presentation on the Central Sierra Child Support Agency program update.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Adele Hendrickson, and I'm the Executive Director of the Central Sierra Child Support Agency. And with me today is Julie Prado, the Deputy Director of the agency. It's with great pleasure that I come to you today. I haven't seen, except for members of our board, haven't really seen the board here for several years since we transitioned from the Tuolumne County Department of Child Support Services to the Central Sierra Regional Agency. We are really lucky, though, in the JPA because each of you over the years have served on our JPA board, and that's unique among our 4-member counties. So thank you each for the service on our board. It helps, I think, both the community and our agency to have that kind of experience and knowledge among the 5 of you. The Tuolumne County, both when we were with the county itself and now, have had great support from the County of Tuolumne and the Board of Supervisors, and you continue to provide us services through contracts for our housekeeping and facilities management and our telephone, et cetera. And so we've had nothing but wonderful, proactive experiences with Tuolumne County, and so we really thank you for that. Julie has a presentation to provide to you, but I wanted to make a few comments before that. Some of it in light of the 2 previous presentations from the Domestic Violence Proclamation and also from the mental health. Our agency provides child support enforcement services, but our community is the same community that's served by the departments of behavioral health, social services, and other community organizations such as those providing assistance to domestic violence survivors, et cetera. And as a consequence, our staff do receive training in issues relating to mental health and stress and how to work with our participants who come from broken homes and broken hearts. And so we think we try very hard to provide services to the community in that regard. Even though it sounds harsh that what we are is a child support enforcement agency, we really do provide a breadth of services and referrals to community services, and I think that's really important for the community. It's also the case that we get lost sometimes is the impact on families about what we are able to do. We recently had a collection of $100,000 from unpaid arrearages over a large number of years, and this collection came from a decedent's estate because an obligor who never paid his support inherited from his family. This family had never been on public assistance. The mother had supported her children all these years without any support, so it was a boon to her to receive a lump sum of $100,000 so she could enable her children to go to college and to have a better life. That's the work that we do. So, Julie?
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? As Adele said, my name is Julie Prado. I'm the Deputy Director of, did I just turn my mic off? I did. Of the agency, and I am honored to be here, and I would like to extend my personal thank you for having us. I'm here today to share with you a little bit about our program. While we have limited time today, I hope to cover some of the things that you're interested in, but I do encourage you to ask questions. And I would like to think that we could come back maybe at least annually to share with you the progress of our agency. So hopefully this will be my first but not last time seeing you here. So to give you a little background about our program, we do operate under the Title 4D of the Social Security Act. Initially, we were designed and developed to be a welfare recovery program, but we have evolved considerably. And I'll cover more about that in the future slides. We were a part of the DA's office, the District Attorney's office, up until 2000 when new law passed and we became our own independent program. There are several small and very small counties around the state who have come together to create regions in order to maximize effectiveness and efficiency in service delivery. We are one of those regions. We are the only region with 4 counties. The others have 3 or less counties. We are the only JPA, Joint Powers Authority, in the state of California in the child support program. So we are very unique in many ways. To give you a quick overview of our services, we do offer establishment services, and these include things like locate, not just physical locate of people, but asset locate as well in order to determine the ability to pay child support and support families. We offer services to establish parentage and paternity testing, which we offer on-site at our agency and all of our locations. We have partnerships throughout the community with local birthing centers and hospitals to offer the Paternity Opportunity Program, which is an opportunity for parents to come together and sign an agreement saying that they are the parents without having to appear in court in front of a judge. And so that's something that we offer both locally in our agency offices, but in the communities as well. And of course, we establish child support orders and medical support orders for the customers that we serve. We offer, obviously, collection services as well, and our payment options have really expanded over the last several years. We obviously take credit cards over the phone and by computer. We have a mobile app where our customers can pay child support by credit card. We have a contract with Pay Near Me, which is offered in stores like 7-Eleven and so forth in the local communities where people can go in and pay their child support that way. We also have a contract with MoneyGram, which is offered in some of the bigger grocery stores, Albertsons, Walmart, things like that, where customers can go in and pay child support. And we also obviously accept cash in our offices, and we've recently installed a kiosk at each of our locations, which is available in our lobby for our customers to come in and pay. If they don't want to talk to our receptionist or pay that way, they can pay on their own through what looks like an ATM, and we call that our kiosk. Customers have direct deposit options to receive their child support. They could also receive a hard copy check, of course, but we also offer EPC cards for our customers to receive child support that way. We maintain a record of payments, and we calculate interest on a regular basis, so there's no need or worry for our customers to have to maintain those records. We do that all for them, and it's available at a click of a button on a self-service website for our customers to access 24 hours a day. And of course, we have a wide variety of collection tools when necessary that individuals and local attorneys don't have access to. They include a wide variety of things like license holds for driver's license, fishing license holds, hunting license holds, bank levies, liens, and quite a variety of other enforcement opportunities. So a little overview of our caseload and our staffing. We have just under 5,400 child support cases in our agency. Tuolumne County's share of that caseload is just about 2,500, or a little over 2,500. That puts us at serving 4,772 children at this point in our program. Over 2,100 of those are children in Tuolumne County. We have 42 staff. And we have 5 locations. Our locations are spread throughout our counties, one in Markleeville, one in Sutter Creek, one in Jackson, one in San Andreas, and of course one here in Sonora. So a little bit about our performance. We're measured on a lot of things, but one of our biggest measurements is our performance measures, and I'll quickly let you know what those are. We are measured on how many children we establish paternity for in our caseload, and that's measured over the number of children in the state of California that need paternity establishment. The second category is how many support orders we collect, so that's measured based on how many need to be collected versus established versus how many we have actually established. Of course, our current collections is a measurement. the number of cases in which we collect arrears, and then, of course, our total overall collections. We're also measured on our cost effectiveness. So this slide, while it has a lot of information, and it gives you a look at our performance as it relates to our overall goals and where Tuolumne County is fitting into those and where we fall, as well as a quick comparison on where we sit on our state average. I'd like to point out here that we are well above the state average in all of the categories, all 5 of the categories. And we typically finish in the top 5 statewide out of 49. 49, since there are regionals, there's 49 child support agencies in the state, and we're typically in the top 4 or 5 statewide. So we're very proud of our performance. And we don't have this year's performance. Our fiscal year just ended on September 30th, and it didn't quite get the numbers in time to report to you where we are. But through our board, and the next time I come to talk with you all, we'll tell you how we fared out this year. So I mentioned earlier that we used to be a part of the district attorney's office. When we were a part of the district attorney's office, we had an enforcement mentality. We had investigators that worked child support cases and carried guns. We had a Father's Day sweep every year in some of our local child support agencies, where we would go out on Father's Day and arrest obligors for not paying child support. That was the type of program we were in the 1990s and before. So I want to tell you that we are evolving in the program today. We are working very hard to change the face of our program. We are a service agency. We are family-centered, and we're working very hard to build partnerships and looking at ways that we can support family self-sufficiency, including learning more about the barriers that our families face on a day-to-day basis, which we've heard several about today. We're learning more about poverty and about homelessness and about addiction and how those things affect the entire family, mothers, fathers, and children alike. So our goal in this program is to continue to provide wraparound services and be one of those service agencies in our communities that I kind of use the analogy where we hold hands with other agencies so that nobody slips through the cracks. We have a funding structure that doesn't allow us to go beyond some of those things, but we can definitely create partnerships with our community, which is what we're really working hard to do. So in trying to focus on family-centered services, we're working and expanding in 2 main areas this coming year. Community outreach, which is where we really want to get the word out about our services. We help a great number of families and children today, but we have the capacity to serve more. And building partnerships in our community to circle around our families and create those wraparound services to fill the gaps. So here's a quick look at some of the community outreach that we've participated in just this year. The Infant Children Enrichment Services, which we term ICES. The Anti-Recidivism Forum, which took place out in the jail. Our staff were there to work with inmates and employees alike. We participated in the Celebrate Our Children celebration, Sonora County Health Fair, the Children's Holiday Festival, the Calaveras High School College Career Fair, and of course Sonora Treat Street, among others. These are just a quick snapshot of what we're doing. Our goal at these events is to reach out to the families who may need our services, to meet the families that we are serving today in the community where they are, to make sure that we're educating and connecting with them to provide the services that they need, and also to interact with other local businesses and agencies in order to further build our partnerships. Here's a quick look at some of the partnerships that we have today. We're in partnership with the Child Abuse Prevention Center, Sierra Natural Birth Center, of course the Sonora Hospital, the Adventist Health, and the Resource Connection. First Five is somebody we also work with on a regular basis. I have in the center Motherload Job Training because we're very excited about a partnership we've launched with them just recently, and starting next month we will be initiating a program with a 3-way partnership between us, Motherload, and our court commissioners, which will connect families with jobs. So not only are we asking for parents to pay, but we're helping them connect to resources in order to help them pay. So we're very excited about that program and building more partnerships along the way. So as we begin to plan our program goals for the next year, we're focused on continuing to build support for our families. We want to get the word out, so we're looking to develop some targeted outreach to our local employers. We have many local employers here that are smaller businesses that really don't maybe know as much as they could know about our program, so we're looking to do some type of an employer forum this year. Continue to build community partnerships, work on our Motherload pilot project, and hopefully expand that by the end of the year. We're launching an agency website, which is new, and you should hear more about that next month. Our board will get a view of that. and have a greater presence in social media. In addition to that endeavor, we're looking to build resources for our internal support and development of our most important resource, which is our staff. So we are looking to update our procedures and programs and develop a wide variety of resources for our staff. So as I stated earlier, we don't have the opportunity to be in front of you very often. So I want to take this opportunity, since I do get to be here today and I have this stage, to publicly thank our staff for the work that they do. Most of us in the child support profession didn't grow up dreaming about being a child support worker. We didn't think when we were growing up that child support is what I'm going to do for a living. But once we got bit by the bug, once you come into the program, you either have the passion or you don't. And the staff that we have, I've been with our agency just over a year, and I'm very impressed with the level of genuine, deep concern for families. And the work that they do every day shows me that. So I think it's, I'd be remiss if I didn't share with you that we have a unique group of people. And each and every one of them come to work every day, not for the paycheck, but to serve the families and the communities that we are here to serve. And so I'm very proud of them, and I'm proud to be a part of their team. So with that, I'd like to open it up for questions.
Supervisor Gray.
Just a comment first. Thank you for a very good presentation. Every time I look at the manual, look at the book, and then I see this stuff, it clicks. I really understand what you do. I think also that, my first stint on sitting on it, I think it was on my first term for the first year for about a year. I have to say that we've really come a long way in those 9 years to where we are today, and I know you have plans for improvement, but I want to thank the staff and thank all of you for what you do, because it's very important to have someone out there being a champion for the children. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Supervisor Hanfeld.
Yeah, I want to thank you for being here too. I serve on the board, as you know, but what I want to comment on was the synergy and the collaboration with like Motherload Job Training. That's a new program. It's innovative. I think you're the only one in the state that's done that, and and it's a credit to both organizations. And that's the kind of innovative thinking, I think, that will make this program even more successful in what it's doing. So I congratulate you on that, and thank you for you and the staff for what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Supervisor Rutherford.
Yeah, thank you very much, both for what you do on a day-to-day basis, your staff, not just you, but everyone. And also thank you for a great presentation. We get a lot of them. This is one of the better presentations that we've gotten, and I think because it's to the point, and it's concise, but it was very, very informative, and I appreciate that. I'll just say that it really does matter what we do with families, and especially with the children and everything. So when we work to take care of the kids, we really are taking care of our future. And I just want to tell you how appreciative I am that there are people like you out there that are doing this very, very important work, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And so I want to add my thanks also, ladies, and my real appreciation. And please share that with the staff. And what I really, really appreciate, and I don't know, Supervisor Hanfield, if you were part of these conversations, but for so many years, different agencies operated in silos, and there just was not the collaboration and the networking. And so the Motherload Job Training piece is a new piece since I've been on your board, was on your board for, I think, 3 or 4 years. But those are the efforts, again, and being a part of all the wraparound services that are going to make us more successful. And we have to be successful because our resources are limited. And so I really appreciate those efforts. I applaud them, and I encourage you to keep looking for those opportunities, because I think that's a shift. And I just want to thank you for thinking outside the box and looking for those opportunities.
Thank you for that. We actually have 2 staff who are now meeting in 3 of our 4 counties with networking community organizations in order to identify areas where we can do things such as this particular project. We have every reason to believe this will be extremely successful and just the first of many, many collaborations in that regard. So thank you.
So I'm going to ask for public comment next, but I just want to say that I hope that we do start getting a presentation on a yearly basis, because I think it's very informative for the public also to hear what's going on and what's happening in all those collaborative efforts.
Great.
So
I
with
accept
that,
invitation.
is there any public comment?
Well, I just want to say that I wasn't aware of you. I think I've seen you at the ISIS, but I probably kept walking. And so I read the entire agenda packet, and I was very impressed. You have really high numbers, and that made me wonder about what's going on in our county, but you're outperforming even the state average, so I thought that was really good. The only thing is, next time, bring a different presentation, because I could hardly read this, and I'm sitting over there. It was kind of small, and the colors weren't really distinct, so I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on the TV for people.
Thank you for that. I noticed
So-
that when I came in as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard, but otherwise, you must be doing amazing work.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. I did bring some brochures that I put on the back table for the community. So anyone can take those.
Hi, Dave Titchnell. I just wanted to make a couple of comments. I wasn't prepared to talk to you folks today, but I've seen the program from two different sides. In the late 90s, my wife had been fighting for child support pretty much for the entire lives of her children, from a deadbeat dad, the sperm donor, to who I consider my children now. And after years of fighting, after a couple of court orders and even an appeal to a decision, the department was finally able to give her more than $50,000, and this was in the late 90s. So it was a great success story. The other half of this coin, though, is my son now had a child 2 years ago, and the child was being withheld from him due to just a mother that they were fighting and weren't getting along, and so he actually petitioned for visitation and brought the thing before the court, and then so immediately your department got involved, and from the first day he was treated as if he was guilty and had to prove his innocence in almost all matters. And I think it stems from the old days when there were so many deadbeat dads, that here you had a young man who was ready to take the responsibilities of his fatherhood quite seriously, wanted to have the child in his life, and had a good job and wanted to pay. But yet once he got into the system, he wasn't treated well, he wasn't treated fairly, to the point where things like the mother refusing to go to work and getting orders to seek work, and just going out and doing a bunch of internet searches and turning those in and not doing anything real, yet there's no pattern of her being held responsible, and this continues on to today. So I think you guys do a really good job, and like I said, we've had a really good success story with you, but I think maybe a little bit more work has to be done in treating both halves of the parenting situation on a more equal basis, and not assume that a guy is a deadbeat dad just because he happens to be male. And I think there's just some more work to be done there. That's all I really have to say.
We appreciate that concern, and we actually forbid the term deadbeat dad among our staff and in our communiques. So we know that there's still bad experiences, and we're trying very hard to change that.
Great, thank you.
So appreciate the presentation, very informative, and we'll look forward to you returning next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next Monday.
Yes. Yes, Monday.
All right, will the clerk please read item 12A?
Consideration of approving a letter of support for the Tuolumne Utilities District for the hazard mitigation project for Lyons Main Canal Emergency Tunnel Pipeline Resiliency Project.
All right, Ms. Riggs.
Good morning. Tracy Riggs, County Administrator's Office. So subsequent to posting of the agenda, as I discussed a little bit earlier, TUD staff contacted me to let me know that they had been invited to submit a full application for a project that they had originally submitted. And the first process in this is doing a notice of interest. And once Cal OES receives all of those, they then review them and they invite applicants for specific projects. And TUD was selected for the Lyons Main Canal Emergency Tunnel Pipeline Resiliency Project. As your board is aware, TUD provides water to more than 44,000 customers, which is about 90% of our population here. The primary water supply is brought to us through a single 4.5-mile section of wooden flume and canal from the Lyons Reservoir. You may remember that this this canal system and these flumes are wooden, and they were constructed originally back in the 1850s, and they do provide 90% of the drinking water for Tuolumne County. And everyone has been concerned. You may remember a little while back, several years ago, we had a tree go through the flume. Thankfully, it was a small section, but it did provide a small amount of panic, as this is what provides water, and we need to do everything we can to protect that. So Tuolumne Utilities District staff has been working on a way that they could somehow get that flume and canal system down into maybe a tunnel that would be underground and therefore less subject to risk if there are wildfire or trees that would be falling. If this flume were to be destroyed or harmed in any way, what TUD staff has relayed is that the emergency water supply would only allow for 20 gallons of water per connection. That's not per member in the home, but per connection, and that's simply not enough. And that it would take approximately 500 days to fix a system of this magnitude. So the phase one of this project, so this application itself is not construction of the tunnel, but it is for engineering and geotechnical design. So the phase one project would involve the geotechnical evaluation and design of a tunnel segment to align with a buried pipeline that would also be engineered and designed to feed water by gravity from the Lyons Reservoir and to the District Section 4 ditch, which is in that Tweenhart area. The new conveyance would bypass a series of wooden flumes that are precariously perched along the edge of the canyon wall and surrounded by dense forest, and would mitigate the vulnerability of rockfall, trees, avalanche, and fire. So with that being said, the TUD staff is asking that your board would support a letter of would actually endorse and authorize a letter of support for them to submit this application. They are requesting $3 million, which would require a 25% share of cost or match on their side, which is approximately $750,000. Due to the short notice from TUD, staff has not generated this letter. We can do it rather quickly, but we did want to get this item before you, as their hope is to provide this application to Cal OES. The due date is November 1st. They're hoping to submit by October 27th, if not earlier.
Supervisor Hanfeld.
Yeah, Madam Chairman, thank you. This is a really important thing, and I applaud TUD for going after what I'll call reliability of our water supply. It has been a concern of mine for some time, and I think others. And the scare we did have that Tracy mentioned was truly a scare. That wasn't a little bit of panic. There was a lot of panic. If that didn't get fixed quick, we were in trouble. So I fully support this, and I just think we need to move forward on it.
Supervisor Rotifer.
Yeah, in the inimitable words of my predecessor, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to keep saying that when it's appropriate. Anyway, I also applaud TUD for jumping on this. It is a great opportunity. I know that $3 million sounds a lot for an engineering study, but this is a very complex problem, and I'm no doubt that it's going to take that to figure out a way to make that delivery segment resilient to natural disasters. And it could be any number of them. First of all, it's an open ditch. If it's a closed system, you can't have pollutants put into the system as easily as other ways. We've already talked about forest fires and trees and all of that stuff. So it is a very vulnerable piece of our water delivery system in the county. So I really applaud them, and I would be willing to support a letter of support that staff would come up with and have our chair sign it at her discretion, with the caveat that we run it by TUD and make sure that it meets what they want to do before we go down that path. So I don't see a necessity to bring it back to the board. I think this is a pretty straightforward. And I'll be glad to make the motion when it comes back to the board.
And I would agree with that. I think we've talked about this in a number of our different, at the committee level and at the board, here at the board, on a number of different occasions. The one piece that I might add is that staff work with the chair of the Water Policy Committee in drafting the letter, and along with TUD.
I'll take that on.
All right. And are there any other comments? Is there any public comment?
Duke York, Deputy Director in charge of roads and engineering, and a civil engineer. And one of the aspects of this proposal, which I think is, absolutely necessary, is that you have to realize that in terms of our water infrastructure, you're only as strong as the weakest link. And in this particular case, that link is made out of wood. And we're dealing with a third world water system and have been for some time. My boss, when I was in the private sector, had always speculated as a worst case scenario that you have a road where a diesel truck hit a one of those septic tank pupper trucks, and they met on the road and they both fell into the ditch, and what it would do to our water supply. And there's just people just don't realize just how tenuous that water supply system is. So I applaud this effort, and much needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? All right, I will bring it back. I think I had a motion from Supervisor Rotifer.
Yes, Madam Chair, I so move.
A second from Supervisor Hanfeld. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Riggs. Will the clerk please read item 13?
Consideration of approving correspondence supporting the Sierra Northern Railroad application for funding through the Department of Transportation's National Significance Freight and Highway Project Grant Program to rehabilitate 55 miles of the track between Riverbank and Standard.
Ms. Peterson.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members. Liz Peterson, County Administrator's Office. I am here today to request your board write or send a letter in support of the Sierra Northern Railway. Actually, it's the Tuolumne County Transportation Council's grant application in partnership with the Sierra Northern Railway. They are applying for a grant through the Department of Transportation, as the clerk read. Sierra Northern Railway, it's actually a subsidiary of Sierra Railroad, which we may all be familiar with. They have a track that encompasses 55 miles of rail line from Riverbank to Standard here in Tuolumne County. That rail line has undertaken decades of wear and tear, which has limited the track rating and the speed at which Sierra Northern Railway can transport freight. Currently, on this track, freight can only travel, or cars rather, can only travel at low speeds up to 10 miles per hour and can only carry up to 5 cars per trip. These restrictions make trains, they result in longer shifts, they result in higher operating costs, and generally it just makes freight transport by rail less cost effective. Rail freight generally consumes a third less of fuel than truck transport per ton per mile, and is much more sustainable in the long term as far as impact and damage to roads, etc., and air quality as well. Sierra Northern Railway intends to, as I mentioned, seek a grant through the Department of Transportation for a substantial amount of money, $20 million or possibly a little higher is what they might apply for, and then they will contribute matching funds as well. And this grant will go to upgrade and improving the 55 miles of track. It will also improve the safety of grade crossings and bridges. It will allow ultimately for up to 25 miles per hour of freight transport and an unlimited number of cars carrying freight from Riverbank to Standard. This upgrade is ultimately ultimately going to substantially increase the efficiency and cost effectiveness of freight transport in Tuolumne County. This grant requires the applicant to be a public agency, and Mr. Pedro and Darren Grossi of TCTC did meet to discuss who would be best suited to be the lead applicant on this grant. Sierra Northern Railway approached both entities and requested that. Mr. Grossi felt, or TCTC felt, that they would be the most suited to apply for this grant and to lead on the administration of the grant funds because they have experience with these types of projects, not railway specifically, but these types of grant administration projects. On October 11th, the TCTC board met and voted to approve they be the grant applicant contingent on the Sierra Northern Railway signing a cooperative agreement as well as providing all of the finalized grant application documents to TCTC for final review by Mr. Grossi before the deadline of submission by November 2nd. They are hoping to receive, or they will receive, the grant documents by October 20th. Let's see here. So as I probably don't have to say, but I will mention, upgraded railroad, upgraded railroad infrastructure here in Tuolumne County could be huge. Currently, Sierra Pacific Industries, JS West Propane, and others use the railway for freight transport. So increasing the amount of cars and the speed at which cars could travel on this rail line could be a substantial benefit economically. Sierra Northern Railway has already heard from other folks who are interested in utilizing the rail line should these upgrades, go through. So I, again, am here to request your board approve a letter in support of their grant application. Again, it's TCTC's grant in partnership with Sierra Northern Railway. And if you have any questions.
So before I go to my colleagues, I'd like them to all know that I received a letter from the city of Riverbank asking us to support this effort. So with that, Supervisor Rotifer.
Sure. Harking back about 5 years now, maybe 6, and we almost lost Railtown. And one of the things that we were trying to do to enhance our competitiveness in Railtown was to get that segment of rail upgraded so we could do some things cooperatively between, say, Oakdale and Jamestown. So not only does this benefit, my understanding is this upgrade would also allow passengers to be taken on that segment of rail. So not only would it increase the commercial freight activity, but it would also allow us to pursue some things that we might want to do, such as a dinner train or something from Oakdale up to Railtown and Jamestown. There's any number of those kinds of projects that we could pursue. So this is potentially a really huge opportunity for our local economy up here. I think, again, not often you get 2 of these in one day, but it's another no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. So I think support is absolutely in order here.
And just to mention, the potential for what this could do for Railtown did come up at TCTC on October 11th, and that you are absolutely correct, and that is actually mentioned also in the draft letter for your approval.
Supervisor Hanfeld.
Yeah, when this first came up, Sierra Railway called me and asked me about it, and I shared some of this with the business community. There's a lot of enthusiasm in the business community for this as well. Everything Supervisor Rotifer said is true. It's a huge potential for the economy of our area and the viability of rail, but it's also a safety issue as far as I'm concerned. So I fully support this. This is the right thing to do. No brainer, I think you said.
I believe we would all, yeah. Supervisor Gray.
Yeah, I certainly agree, and it's nice to have that letter from Riverbank because when we did the
Yeah.
The Cooperstown Quarry. I remember standing out in
I
in
saw
the
you looking at the letterhead.
in the cold, talking to the mayor of Riverbank about the benefits of that. So it's good that they're on board. I think of concern is the ability to meet the deadlines, and that was something that at TCTC we did stress that the deadlines need to be made in order for us to perform. I've always felt our railroad is underutilized, and having these improvements would certainly make it better. So I certainly support it.
Totally agree.
All right. Is there any public comment?
The other thing that came out at TCTC was, I think they said that Camps Propane is now doing all their propane transit by rail and not by truck. Wasn't that correct?
JS West also.
Oh, JS West too. Okay. So you all heard from me behind the scenes. I stand by what I said. It's TCTC's decision to make, so this is just for a letter, so I won't get on my soapbox about that. But I do want a second letter to them, as I said in my email. Thank you.
Duke York, Deputy Director in charge of Roads and Engineering. I want to thank staff for adding that line about Railtown 1897. I'm glad you listened to my plea on that issue. The railroad, safety of the railroad grade crossings, just so the public knows where these grade crossings are. There's Hess Avenue, there's 2 on Campo Seco, there's 1 on Belmuni, and then when you're talking about these bridges, I know that if you really want a great show, when they're taking a heavy load across that trestle, that Sullivan Creek trestle, you can see that thing moving, and structurally, and that I'm sure that's one of the bridges they're contemplating changes on, and much needed. It will benefit the entire community, and the one thing that I know that was offered years ago, and this is dating back with Mike Hart, was the potential of a walkway alongside the railroad. So it was offered as a trail easement many years ago. It could be done as a cooperative issue. So I don't know where that stands, but I'm sure it'll come up in the dialogue. Thank you very much.
Don Taylor, out of Groveland, Gray's Mine.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
I can say that I like the idea of the pathway that goes along there that throws it open for people to use. I know of railway right-of-ways in Mississippi that go from through several towns that are open to bike paths that make it a positive thing for the community to be involved in. So I like the idea. We have a light rail that we can pick up in Modesto and go all the way to the Bay Area. It would certainly be good to have a railway system that would allow us to go back, to go from here down and catch it in there and take a little bit off of the highways that are doing that. So I think this is really a great idea. And the one thought I want to leave you with is, back when I was a kid, there were rails underneath the Bay Bridge. Well, before that, there was a ferry that could get you from Oakland to San Francisco in a half an hour. And then they put in the bridge and the railway. Now it's 45 minutes. And then they took that up, and I think it's 2 hours now to drive. And with that, thank you very much for listening.
Just to comment on one of the speaker's comments, that we're aware of the concerns, and I'm sure that we'll look forward to addressing some of them. Thank you.
All right, bring this back to the board.
I'll move in favor of the staff recommendation providing the letter.
Second.
I have a motion from Supervisor Hanfeld, second from Supervisor Rotifer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Will the clerk please read, I think we can do item 14 before our break. Will the clerk please read item 14?
Consideration of adopting a resolution allowing reimbursement for future external financing for the technology infrastructure projects.
Yeah. Madam Chair, members of the board, let me just say straight out on this item, I want to emphasize we're not buying anything today and we're not borrowing anything today. This is just setting forth options for us to finance equipment and projects in the future. Yeah, we've talked about all the improvements that are needed in our IT systems, and your IT department, in conjunction with the operating departments, have been working diligently on a number of them. A few of the big ones that are left include the replacement of our phone system, which we've had money set aside actually on that one, and we can pay that cash on the barrelhead with money that's been set aside. And we're also looking at replacing our enterprise system, which is our budget system, our budget, finance, HR, payroll. It's one of the most important systems that we have. There's been a team working on that that have evaluated programs and are settling down on one that will cost approximately $2.2 million. In order to bring our new phone system to life and to actually use this new enterprise system, we also need to have a wide area network that can support that, the data file sizes with the speed that's necessary. Our network was built just before the year 2000 as part of the Y2K effort. Up until that time, Tuolumne County didn't have a wide area network. But we installed it then using the best technology that was available. We've done some minor things along the way, but it is time to replace it in order to enable us to take the next step on technology projects such as the new phone system, and the new ERP system. I kind of put it akin to the infrastructure project we just did out at the Law and Justice campus, where you had to extend the road, and underneath that road were the utilities that are going to service the new jail. If you didn't have that road with those utilities to the new jail, you couldn't have a new jail. So that's the network that we're talking about. So anyway, what today is about is we're looking at somewhere around $3.1 million that we would need to finance in order to move on with these projects. And again, we're not buying anything and we're not borrowing anything today, but as we've looked at how best to finance these projects, we have been looking at just doing these as a standalone financing and looking at multiple firms and vendors to do that. But as we've also looked about the Law and Justice project and how to best finance that, it's been suggested to us that we look at combining the financings for the Law and Justice campus and this work into one series would be for like a 10-year, and we're not looking to approve anything today. I'm just explaining what we're looking at. There'd be a series one that would be to finance this these IT systems for a 10-year period, and looking at for the Law and Justice campus projects financing in the 25 to 30-year range. The team that's working on that includes Auditor Controller Debbie Batista, Tracy Riggs, Daniel Richardson, and myself from the CIO's office. Sarah Creo has been helping us looking at all the legal stuff that goes with that. Before we do anything to buy new equipment and to take on financing, we'll run all those details through the Finance Committee en route back to this to the full board, and hope to be able to bring something to the Finance Committee within the next couple weeks on that. We're, again, trying to get the best deals together that that team I just described is fully supportive on. So today, this is very similar to something the board did in June, which is to pass a resolution. It's called a reimbursement resolution that basically says it's okay to proceed if we wanted to with some of this work now and actually secure financing later. It's just a tool to give us flexibility on how we borrow and when we borrow. What we approve today could be used to authorize financing or support financing that was of work that was done even 2 months ago, and would cover any work that we would do from this point forward. So again, it's just a mechanism to protect our options to secure financing. It's not approving financing, and we're not buying anything today.
Are there any board questions? Is there any public comment?
My name's Debbie Batista. I'm the County Clerk and Auditor Controller. This will be my third conversion and absolutely my last. And I'm really encouraging you so that we can start this process. We wanted to get this going over 6 months ago. We absolutely need a new fiscal system in the county, not just for finances, but for HR, for payroll. The new systems, we are kind of like, we're not in the dark ages, but we're probably going around on bicycles where everybody else are in very fast cars, whatever that is. We really need to get there. We need it for our staff. We need it for information to be able to give to you all, to give to the public. So I encourage you so that we can start this process to approve this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Right, I'm going to bring this back to the board.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt a reimbursement resolution allowing the future external financing of technology infrastructure projects.
Second.
I have a motion from Supervisor Gray, a second from Supervisor Hanfeld. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, let's take a 10-minute break.
Big rocks and little rocks.
All right, we are going to reconvene the meeting. And let's see, item 15 has been pulled. So will the clerk please read item 16?
Consideration of approving the employee development value statement.
Okay. Madam Chair, members of the board, during this last year's planning retreat, you made the point that a more purposeful staff development program was needed. At the end of the retreat, you made the creation of a new employee development value statement a priority. In this agenda item, I'm not going to read these out, but I've just by way of reminder, put the vision and mission statement of the county, and also put in what your other two existing value statements are, one on integrity and the other on creativity. I did not put the one on code of ethics in here, but I just wanted to give you a reminder and a flavor, and the public a reminder and a flavor of the statements you already have approved. But in creating this new value statement, we also knew that with it, is we did need to have a program or a system to ensure that it's not just words that we adopt or you adopt today, but an actual system to put feet to it so that we take it seriously and approach it in a more purposeful manner than we ever have with the county of Tuolumne. And I'll speak to that in just a second with help from my friends in the audience. But I do want to thank now a team of people that came together at my request, a work group to help prepare the employee development statement that's before you today. And that work group consisted of Election Supervisor Robbie Bergstrom, Assistant Auditor Controller Jessica Tucker, County Counsel Sarah Carrillo, Human Resource Analyst Kimberly Phipps. Someone got hooked here at the end, Human Resource Manager Ann Fremd, and then also Assessor Recorder Kanan Whitman. They all helped. We got together twice. First, just to talk about what it means in general. Wrote down a bunch of words that we wanted to incorporate, and came together a second time. And the statement that is being presented to you for your consideration, which was also run past all of your department heads and has their endorsement as well, reads as follows. We are dedicated to elevating understanding, awakening creativity, and developing competencies for successful and meaningful careers. There's a lot of effort that, it's a short statement. It packs a lot of import. speaks to how we want to have an aware and creative workforce, having competencies that all will have, and through that they can have successful and meaningful careers, which speaks to them personally, but also in the meaningfulness. It's meaningful to them, but it's meaningful to the people that they serve, through those careers. So as far as that would be your statement. What else would we be doing to try and put feet to this? I'll have Ann and Kim. You might start walking up, and I'll just talk through. But we're developing through human resources some core classes that all employees could take, and also some core competency classes that would be given to people who aspire to management and leadership positions within the organization. And as your board knows, as part of the system that we put in place this year, as you've been conducting performance reviews with your department heads, one of the goals for every department head they have to speak to in their evaluation with the board is focused on employee development. What are they doing specifically within their departments? So from this is important, and it's in a value statement, to some core training for all staff and those aspiring to management leadership positions, to your department heads and their evaluations. We're creating an entire system to reinforce what you said was important, and your department head said was important at last year's retreat. And with that, I'll let Ann go ahead and give it a little description of what they're doing.
I'm actually going to give it to Kim to explain. She's been doing a lot of hard, good work on this, and so I wanted her to be able to talk to you all about this.
Hello, Kim Phipps, HR analyst. So I'm just going to give a real brief overview of what we're looking at doing, and what we hope the program will look like is a few different levels of certifications. One for our basic foundational courses, and then a certification for foundational staff, one for supervisory and managerial, and then one for executive level. And each certification would consist of different competencies that we'd be asking the employees to accomplish, trainings and assignments to show that they have knowledge in that competency area. And our next steps, we're going to be taking what we're proposing as a competencies to the department heads so they can have some input and make sure they think that each competency is appropriate for the level of the certification. And then once we have that, we'll develop the curriculum that we think is appropriate and vet out the courses. That covers it. Yeah.
The only thing I'd add is, what we're talking about doing through, HR's efforts, which are important. That becomes a base of things. It does not preclude, and actually is meant to complement other trainings that are available through folks like the CSAC Institute. We have IC, International City County Managers Association. Each of the professional associations, be it through SEAC or engineers or whatever. There's a number of things that are out there. But we're going to create a system and a suite of training options to, again, try to develop our employees in the county.
Okay.
Supervisor Rutherford.
Yeah, I'm glad you commented on that, because that was one of the things that I was going to say. I think there's value in both internal and external training programs, and I'd like to see, a really good mix of the two. And the reason that external programs are good, although they cost us money, obviously, but what they do, whether they're association programs or whether they're like CSAC or like some of our professional associations and stuff, what those afford the person an opportunity to do is interact with people from other jurisdictions, and not all just counties. There'll be people from cities and their different staff levels and all of that stuff. Those are extremely valuable. I spent a lot of time the first year that I was a supervisor going through CSAC's classes, since that's our association, and I found that invaluable. I got a lot of viewpoints that were not necessarily stovepipe in Tuolumne County. I got to talk to a lot of other supervisors, both new and experienced. I got to talk to staff from other counties and understand the problems that they had in their specific areas. So those kinds of interactions, I think, are very, very important, and I hope that we integrate that into our local programs. There is a need to have programs that are specific to Tuolumne County in some respects, and certainly we can save some money in terms of admission costs or whatever by doing it locally, but I don't want us just to focus on that alone. But I really applaud. I like the statement, but like everything, vision, mission, values, all of that stuff, they look really great on the wall, but they don't mean anything hanging on the wall. They only mean something if we follow up as an organization and embody those principles that we've got hanging on our wall. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Supervisor Hanfeld?
I agree with everything you just said, Supervisor Rotifer. I really believe that the networking and broad networking, not just with people in your same kind of position, but the CSAC classes, for instance, offer a broad spectrum of people within the organization of other counties, and that cross-pollinates ideas and innovation. Look, I like the statement, too. I'm not sure that's as strong as I would like to say it, because I believe that professional development is really important, that we make that a major goal, that we promote, we encourage, and almost demand of our people that they they participate in a program of growing their professional skills for the benefit of our constituents, being the county residents. And I'm just not sure this is strong enough and positive enough for me to do that. But I like the statement, I like the ideas, and we absolutely need to encourage this on a very active basis. So I'm very proud of you for doing that. So thank you.
I like the statement because it's not complicated. Something I can remember and understand. What I'm looking forward to is of what you guys come up with. That would be really interesting. So certainly support it.
So I'm going to concur with my fellow supervisors, and actually Supervisor Rotifer hit the notation that I had made with. I like the statement, but the statement is really meaningless if we're not following it up with a program that's really well-rounded, and agree with looking outside to some of the resources with the multitude of different affiliations that we have. So I'll look forward to as that whole program evolves. And I think we're all aware that this really surfaced as a priority coming out of the retreat that all of the department heads talked to, and we certainly recognize it. So good job for moving it forward, and it's the starting place because it's really the training piece that's going to be the critical segment. So no other questions. Is there any public comment? All right, Supervisor Rotifer?
Sure. With eager anticipation of things to come, I would move to adopt the employee development statement presented by the staff.
Second.
So I have a motion from Supervisor Rotifer, a second from Supervisor Gray. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, ladies.
I do hope that everybody understands the commitment of this board towards our employees and making them better at what they do. Thank you.
All right. I think we can do item 17 before our closed session.
I don't know. There's a lot of discussion tonight.
Consideration of approving an appointment to the California State Association of Counties Board of Directors for the 2017 association year.
So, CSAC requires us to appoint the director, and you have a recommendation before you. Are there any questions or comments?
Move on recommendation.
Second.
So before we go there, is there any public comment?
Curious, what's the recommendation because it's
That we
blank.
appoint Supervisor Brennan
Okay.
as our representative to CSAC.
Okay.
Aren't
And
you
what
on
ab-
it now?
What about
Yes,
the
I am.
alternate?
Okay.
And I believe the alternate is Supervisor Hanfeld.
Okay.
I really like Matt Kate, and I approve.
All right. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to bring it back. I had a motion from Supervisor Gray, a second from
Pick one, either one of us.
Supervisor Royce. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right. Will the clerk please read our 11 a.m. closed session appointment?
Slowly. So this is a closed session, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Authority Government Code Section 549569D1, Mark Kurzich et al. Versus County of Tuolumne, United States District Court, Eastern District of California, case number 116 CV 01116 DAD SAB. And a closed session with, this is a conference with legal counsel. This is anticipated litigation. Authority Government Code Section 549569D2, two cases.
Do we anticipate a report? No. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we will adjourn to closed session. Just to keep everybody on their toes. Right. No, we are accommodating the young family in the audience because that's an awfully cute baby. All right, we are going to reconvene the Board of Supervisors meeting. And I would ask the clerk to please read our fourth 1:30 appointment.
Was there anything to report back on the closed session?
No.
Okay.
And
Okay. So number 4, public hearing to consider Harrison resolution to enlarge an agricultural preserve, special ordinance amending section 170602 of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code, and application to execute a new Williams Neck land conservation contract.
all right, staff report.
Is that on? Sorry. Here are the vision, mission, and values policy of Tuolumne County, which we use to process every project application received by the Community Resources Agency. An application was received from Matthew and Ashton Harrison to place their 172.7 acre property into a new Williamson Act land conservation contract. Since 10 acres of the site is not within an agricultural preserve, the project also includes an agricultural preserve alteration to enlarge Agricultural Preserve 22 and a zone change to add the AP Agricultural Preserve combining zoning district to the project site. The property is located at 14750, 14790, and 14800 Booker Road, approximately 1,500 feet southeast of the intersection of Wards Ferry Road and Booker Road. The current zoning is A10, General Agricultural 10-acre minimum, and AE37, Exclusive Agricultural 37-acre minimum. The general plan land use designation is rural residential and agricultural. The project site is outlined in black and contains 3 assessor parcels. The parcels colored green are designated for agriculture uses by the Tuolumne County General Plan. The parcels colored dark brown are designated for a combination of residential and agricultural uses. The state's Williamson Act Land Conservation Program began in 1965 to help farmers preserve agricultural land. In exchange for entering into a 10-year Williamson Act contract, the property owner receives a tax reduction on the property. The contract remains on the property until a notice of non-renewal is served for the property to come out of the Williamson Act program. Resolution 10604 is utilized by Tuolumne County to enforce the state's Williamson Act program. Rule 4A1C states that any commercial agricultural operation must be existing at the time a new contract is recommended for approval by the Agriculture Advisory Committee. The minimum parcel size for a dryland grazing operation is 160 acres. The combination of these 3 parcels totals 172.7 acres, which more than meets the minimum acreage for a new contract. The Williamson Act Land Conservation Program also requires that all property is entered into an agricultural preserve. The minimum size of an agricultural preserve is 100 acres. The property owner's request for a new contract requires the alteration of Agricultural Preserve 22. 2 of the parcels are currently already in this agricultural preserve. This is a map showing Agricultural Preserve, which currently consists of 213.4 acres. The preserve would be enlarged to encompass the 10-acre parcel that is to the northwest into the new contract. Rule 4B2 of Resolution 10604 requires that the property that enters into a new contract have a zone change to become AE37AP, Exclusive Agricultural 37-acre minimum agricultural preserve combining. The AP combining zoning district also aids planners with quickly identifying properties in the Williamson Act program. The project was considered by the Agriculture Advisory Committee at its meeting on June 15, 2017. At that meeting, the committee unanimously recommended approval of the 3 assessor parcels that total 172.7 acres to enter into a new Williamson Act land conservation contract. The project was heard by the Tuolumne County Planning Commission on October 4, 2017. The Commission unanimously recommended approval of the Agricultural Preserve enlargement, the zone change, the new Williamson Act contract, and also approval of the Agricultural Management Plan. Any questions?
Are there any board questions? All right, this is a public hearing, so we will open the public hearing at 1:35. Is there any public comment? All right, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. If I say this slow enough, we might get to 1:36. We will close the public hearing at 1:36 and bring it back to the board.
Madam Chair, this is in the 4th District, and I've got to say this is probably one of the most complicated ones that I've had to make a motion on, but I would like to move that we find my sheet here. I move approval of the Agriculture Preserve Alteration AP 16-004 based on findings A through D. I would also move to approve the zone change RZ 16-001 based on findings A through E. Would also move to execute a land conservation contract, WA 16-007, under Resolution 106-04, based on findings A through D, and also move to approve the agricultural management plan based on findings A through E. Also, move to determine the proposed farm labor housing is compatible under the Williamson Act pursuant to Rule 8B of Resolution 106-04 based on findings A through F.
Second.
I have a motion from Supervisor Gray, a second from Supervisor Hanfield. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, will the clerk please read our third 1:30 appointment?
Public hearing to consider T5 Ranches application to rescind an existing Williamson Act land conservation contract in order to execute 2 new Williamson Act land conservation contracts.
Sorry, I'll get better with practice.
You're fine.
Here, once again, are the vision, mission, and value policies of Tuolumne County, which we use to process every project received by the Community Resources Agency. An application was received from Robert Osborne to rescind Williamson Act Contract 04WA71 pertaining to 601.6 acres in order to enter into 2 new contracts. One contract is proposed for 556.6 acres, and one contract is proposed for 45 acres. The property already contains the AP Agricultural Preserve Combining Zoning District, therefore no zone change is required for this project. The property is located at 13630 State Highway 108, approximately 1/2 mile to the southwest of the intersection of Auburn's Ferry Road and Highway 108. The current zoning is exclusive agricultural, 37-acre minimum, agricultural preserve combining, and the general plan land use designation is agricultural. The project site is outlined in black and contains 7 assessor parcels. The parcels colored green are designated for agricultural uses by the Tuolumne County General Plan. The other colors on this map represent other types of land uses. The state's Williamson Act Land Conservation Program began in 1965 to help farmers preserve agricultural land. In exchange for entering into a 10-year contract, the property owner receives a tax reduction on the property. The contract remains on the property until a notice of non-renewal is served on the property for it to come out of the Williamson Act program. Resolution 10604 is utilized by Tuolumne County to enforce the state's Williamson Act program. Rule 4A1C states that any commercial agricultural operation must be existing at the time a new contract is recommended for approval by the Agriculture Advisory Committee. The minimum parcel size for a dryland grazing operation is 160 acres. The minimum parcel size for a prime agricultural use, such as turkey production, is 40 acres. The proposed 2 contracts meet the minimum acreage requirements. An application was received in November 2016 requesting a re-subdivision between 2 legal parcels owned by T5 Ranches, one of which is leased by Timothy and Joan Diestel for turkey production. Section 51257 of the California Government Code requires that for a land reconfiguration, the property owners must rescind their existing Williamson Act contract and enter into a new contract. The same amount of land must still be restricted by the new contract or contracts. This is a map showing the proposed reconfiguration of 2 of the parcels. The parcel line in the middle of the orange, longer colored section is being removed. The lower southeast parcel where the arrow is pointing is going from 40 to 45 acres. This is the agriculture preserve. There, for this project site, it's actually in two agriculture preserve. Agriculture Preserve 342 is shown with blue stripes. Agriculture Preserve 361 is shown with green coloring. Each of these two agricultural preserves contains greater than 100 acres, which makes them both viable agricultural preserves. The project was considered by the Agriculture Advisory Committee at its meeting on June 15, 2017. At that meeting, the committee unanimously recommended approval of rescinding the existing contract and entering into two new Williamson Act land conservation contracts. The project was not heard by the Planning Commission since no zone change was needed for this project. Any questions?
Does the board have any questions at this time?
No.
No. All right. We will open the public hearing at 1:42. Would ask if there's any public that would like to speak. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing at 1:42:47. And I'll bring this back to the board.
Madam Chair, since this is in District 5, I move on staff recommendations, number 1, to rescind the Williamson Act Land Conservation Contract 04WA-71 and execute two new Williamson Act contracts, WA-17-002 and WA-17-003 under Resolution 106-4 based upon the following findings, A through the rest of the alphabet now, A through K, and then also that we approve the two agricultural management plans based on findings A through E.
Second.
I have a motion by Supervisor Rotifer, a second by Supervisor Hanfeld. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Will the clerk please read our second 1:30 appointment?
Public hearing to consider Denison Special Ordinance amending Section 1706020 of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code.
Thank you, Madam Chair, fellow supervisors. My name is Dan Van Essen, and I am a planner for the Community Resources Agency. Today I bring forth rezone RZ 17-005 for Denny and Jeanne Dennison. The project description, ordinance for zone change RZ 17-005 to rezone a 17.28 acre parcel. The parcel is currently zoned A10, and it will be rezoned into a portion of RE5, which is going to be 7.55 acres, and a portion that's going to be A20, and a 10.08 acres, and I'll explain that a little more in depth further in this presentation. The project site's located on U.S. Forest Route 2 South 08 Hells Hollow Road, approximately 585 feet southeast of the intersection of U.S. Forest Route 2 South 09Y and South Ponderosa Way. Located in the vicinity of Coulterville, APN 066-450-011 and APN 066-450-12 in Supervisor District 4. And the general plan on the parcel is RR, which stands for Rural Residential. This is our map of the project site. The parcel that's going to be altered is right here, APN 066-450-011. And as you can see, it's right on the county boundary of Tuolumne County and Mariposa County, but it is within Tuolumne County. On June 29, 2017, the Denison submitted an application for exhibit map T17-021 to the surveyor's office. The map proposed a re-subdivision of two parcels, parcel 1, 30.26 acres, and parcel 2, 17.64 acres, And the resulting adjustment would create the following parcels. Parcel 1, 30.26 acres. Parcel 2, 7.55 acres. As you can see here on the exhibit map, basically they're going to be removing this lot line to create almost a perfect square on parcel 1, and that's going to trigger a rezone because this is currently zoned A10 while the rest of the parcel is zoned A20, and this small portion of a parcel over here is currently zoned A10 and will have to be rezoned to RE5 because it's not going to be 10 acres. So this exhibit map triggered our rezone. Owners of property within 1,000 feet of the site were notified of the proposed project. This encompassed 6 neighbors, and we received no comments on the proposed project. And the Planning Commission, the Tuolumne County Planning Commission recommended approval of the project on October 4th, 2017. The Board of Supervisors may approve the project with modifications, or deny the project. Thank you, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Supervisor Gray.
Just to comment, when you mentioned Coulterville, I always think of Mariposa County. It's closer to Groveland than it is Coulterville. So you might want to, I'm not sure if the people that are wanting to do this is your mailing address, Coulterville, by some chance? Yes. Okay, that's probably where the confusion is. The other thing that you want to open up the public hearing first?
Go ahead and ask your question.
No,
if
that's
you have
okay.
A question.
You want me to ask it now? Okay. We have issue up in that area where of access, and the people have complained to me a number of times that the road is inadequate and that they want the county to maintain the road. I just want to make it clear that it's not a county-maintained road in that area, and that, if property is sold, if there was some way that we could note that those properties that are going to be split off are not part of a county-maintained road area, so we don't confuse the new property owners that they have a new nice road in front of their house. Maybe in the summer, in the wintertime, it's not very good.
All right, so that might be something that when we open the public hearing, we can have addressed. Any other board questions? All right, this is a public hearing, and we're going to open the public hearing at 1:49. Is there anyone that would wish to speak?
Good afternoon, Ruben Chonside from Land and Structure. We're providing the surveying services on the project. Just to address Mr. Gray's comments, this project's not creating any new parcels. It's just a re-subdivision of 2 existing parcels. So road improvement requirements are not part of this project. But if you had any other questions.
My name is Denny Dennison, and I'm in favor of this project. I just wanted to clarify one minor thing. The road that goes down to Hell's Hollow, that goes through this area, is a Forest Service maintained road, and they have recently come out and taken real ownership of that road by restricting logging access through that area unless they're paid a large amount of money. And they've also recently surveyed the road for some improvements. So I think the county's in good shape there.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? All right, seeing no one, we will close the public hearing at 1:50, and I'll bring it back to the board.
Madam Chair, I move to approve zone change RZ 17-005 based on findings A through D.
I have a motion from Supervisor Gray, a second from Supervisor Hanfeld. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right. Will the clerk please read our first 1:30 appointment?
Public hearing to consider adopting a resolution to add a new overloaded commercial bin charge and a new rate for a bear approved resistance cart to the current approved rates scheduled for Cal Sierra disposal collection areas 1 and 2.
Ms. Barlow.
Turn on your
Are you
microphone. Sorry. Cal Sierra Disposal, a waste management company, provides subscription collection service in the collection areas 1 and 2. Currently, there is no rate that they can charge when commercial bins are overloaded. Either the garbage is piled so high that the lids don't close, or there's bags on top, or all around the garbage cans. So they submitted a request to be able to add an overcharge rate to their rate structure. Along with that request, they submitted a proposal called Clean Tuolumne County, where it explains why they're requesting this and has some photographs attached of some of the sites where they have had extreme amount of extra garbage. They've submitted a process by which their driver will take a photograph of an overage and submit it to the local office. Somebody from the local office will mail the business a letter and attach a photograph, and then give them a call and ask them, help them try to either right-size their garbage by having increased service, a larger container, or recycle, put in another recycle or larger recycling container to reduce the amount of garbage generated. If overages continue, then they would like to implement a $25 charge each time the business overloads their garbage cans. So, in an effort to prevent litter and unsightly piles of garbage, staff supports this proposal, acknowledging that sometimes businesses do get dumped on by the general public, and so we would encourage businesses to lock their enclosures and or lock the containers to prevent unauthorized disposal. The Solid Waste Division also received complaints from upcountry of bears getting into garbage cans. So Waste Management was asked to provide a rate for providing bear-proof garbage cans. They did some research and they found that they can get bear-proof garbage cans in the 64-gallon and the 96-gallon size. They have decided it will work best for them if a resident requests a bear container, then they will purchase it and provide it. It's not feasible for them to stock a bunch of bear containers on site at this time. They do have a lock on them. They're willing to provide this service for the same rate that a 64-gallon non-locking container would be, or a 96-gallon non-locking container would be, with the addition of $6.11 a month for the driver to get out and unlock the container before it has to be dumped. That's already the yard service fee. So, so once again, in order to keep bears out of the garbage cans and to help the upcountry homeowners with their garbage, staff recommends approval of these extra rates. This was brought to the Solid Waste Committee on August 29th, 2017, and Solid Waste Committee supported these. Another note, the return on revenue for Cal Sierra Disposal was just under 10% on the 3-year rolling average. However, they decided not to ask for an increase this year. And so the rates, the other rates that have been established for collection area 1 and 2 will remain the same as they were in 2016-17, and with just the addition of these 2 new rates if approved. So there will be no increases to the county. The increases would, there might be specific increases to customers. So Solid Waste Committee and staff recommend that you adopt the resolution that's been attached. Do you have any questions?
Right. Are there any board questions? Supervisor Rutherford.
Just, I don't know if it's a question or a comment or both. One of my concerns is obviously some of these commercial bins that are overloaded are the result of people doing illegal dumps of their own personal stuff in some of these corporations. So security is an issue. Somehow we ought to encourage security cameras so we can identify who some of these bad actors are. But the other thing is people that are going to put their own trash in some corporation's trash bin. If they don't do that, they're going to put them on the side of our roads, and we're dealing with that all the time. You know, we all live in a really wonderful environment up here, and we got some bad actors that are trashing it, and I personally don't appreciate it, and I think a lot of the property owners that own the properties that are adjacent to some of our high-use roads where people habitually drop their trash don't appreciate it even more because they got to pay to get it cleaned up. I don't know what we do about that, but I'd sure like some suggestions. I think Sheriff's Department investing in some game cameras wouldn't hurt, but we need to deal with the bigger problem. Not relevant to this resolution other than the fact we're talking about solid waste and some people abusing other people's bins, but just a comment.
Supervisor Royce.
I think the illegal dumping is a smaller part of it. I think there's a lot of places that just fill their bins to the top and beyond based on what they have instead of ordering a bigger dumpster. And I just wanted to highlight, in the committee, we reviewed the process for citing people. I know they'll take pictures, warn them, letter, and then proceed with fines from there. So I feel that there's a fair due process, so I support that. And then, I guess since I already got my mouth rolling here, I'll keep going. On the bear issue, I just want to highlight a fact that I believe this is a direct result of the decision that was made to no longer allow dogs for the use of bear hunting. And the reason is because most of the hunting that was done for bears, people that don't know about dog hunting probably think it's unfair and it's not sportsmanlike and all that, but almost all the time when people tree a bear with dogs, they let the bear go. And what that does is it scares the bear and it keeps it from being bold around people and wandering into neighborhoods like Twain Harte and eating garbage. So I think this is a direct impact to that decision. I wanted to thank Waste Management and Belinda for taking the time after getting constituent complaints to put this item together. And I like the way that it's structured because anybody that has an issue with it has the ability to pay a little bit more and they got this service. And if they don't want it, they can keep doing business the way they are. So I think this is a good answer on our part. But I just feel it needs to be said because people told us this was going to happen. And it's easy to forget about that. And I don't know what we can do about it, but sure does need to be on the record.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? All right, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing at 2 o'clock and ask if there's any public comment. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public
we do,
hearing
but
at 2:20 and bring it back to the board.
Being that I just wasted a bunch of time talking, I'll take the courtesy of making a motion based on recommendation here.
Second.
I have a motion from Supervisor Royce, a second from Supervisor Gray. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right. Yes, Belinda, if you'll just stay seated for a moment.
Well, this is an opportunity that I get to embarrass somebody a little bit and let you and the rest of the audience and a bunch of my CRA family here say goodbye to somebody that has chosen to retire who I will miss dearly. Belinda has been our solid waste manager since I got here, and it's been a real pleasure for myself to get to know her. And I have begged her, basically, to stay longer than she really had wanted to. And just recently on Friday, she had told me that, 10 months extra longer than she was planning on staying was probably enough, and that she's going to go ahead and retire at the end of the month. So I know this was last minute on here, but I really want to take the chance to say a few things about Belinda. Now my staff that has showed up feel the same way. So if I could take a moment of the board's time and read something briefly, and then allow maybe some of yourselves and the staff to say thank you to Belinda for her years of service here. So Belinda Barlow is our solid waste manager for a community resource agency, has had a long love affair with our county. She moved up here in 1975 and took some part-time jobs. She was working for the Forestry Service for a couple years, and worked there for a couple years where she met her husband, Kevin, which I think, yep, there he is. Thought I saw him earlier. Came to celebrate with her as well. And she also worked there for their ag commissioner for a couple years as a trapper, is what my understanding is. And after she had her first child, she decided to stay home for a few years. In 2005, she came back to our county family and served at social services for a while. And in 2007, she came over to the solid waste division, which was a little bit different than what we have it formed now, but is back in the CRA family. In 2009, she was promoted to a specialist job. And in 2012, for whatever reason, she decided to take a promotion to the manager for solid waste. And I thank her for that, because things happen for a reason, and she stepped up and did a great job for our agency, keeping things afloat. And it was my hope that I could beg her to stay a little bit longer, but I do understand her grandchildren are far more important than I am or anybody else in this room, so I understand that. Belinda's been responsible for a lot of things. It's solid waste collection, disposal, recycling. Has been a real advocate for people to try to recycle and try to convince businesses that it was good for their business to go about that. That is a delicate task, and she's handled that well, even though some of the resources she's had to do that have been very limited. So I've noticed that in my tenure here, as well as I'm sure that's been extended long before that. So she's been a big advocate for trying to improve that and trying to convince those businesses and our haulers to make that a better business model. And that goes a lot to say about how she cares for our county. She's also been an advocate for our residences and businesses. And from rates, trying to keep them steady, to coming up with innovative ideas, just like you've seen here, to tackle problems that are not easy sometimes and sometimes very emotional for folks. And so I've watched her in meetings, I've watched her handle the public and the complaints, and I commend her for the way you handle yourself as well as a professional from our county representing us. So thank you. She's known by all of our colleagues, and there are going to be a few of them, I'm sure they're going to stand up and say something. It's hardworking, dedicated, and completely committed to not just CRA, but this county. And I will tell you firsthand, I see it every day in her attitude, her work ethic, and I will miss you dearly. I won't get too googly here. I just don't want to wish you well. I will be calling you, I promise you, and you've already said you would take those calls. As you guys know, we're a little short-handed here, but we will get through it as we always do because we're a great team. And so thank you for your 13 years with us and your outstanding services. Karen, would you come forward, please? Something small. Promised you it wouldn't be too big. So, some flowers. Saying thank you. And we have a recognition here certificate we came up from has our beautiful courthouse on there. It's just in honor of Tuolumne County for your years of service and recognition. So I want to say thank you personally. So, and it's not appropriate, let me do it anyway. I'll say a few things before they come up and really embarrass you.
David, before you move on, I think the board members have a few comments they'd like to make.
I apologize.
So I'm going to start with Supervisor Gray.
Yeah. I think we forced you to be solid waste manager, is what it boils down to. I don't think you had any choice. But I've been supervisor as long as you've been solid waste manager. I got to say, if people think garbage is simple, it's not. And I always appreciate your input and the ways that you've gone about trying to solve some of these difficult garbage problems, trying to keep 3 franchises happy and being fair to the people, but really appreciate being able to work with you and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
Supervisor Hanfeld.
Yeah, well, I want to thank Belinda. She's been there for me every time I've called her. She covers for me at the RCRC JPA, which gives me a day of my life back about once a month, which is greatly appreciated. And like Supervisor Gray said, well, it's a garbage job, and it's tough to do, and it's thankless, very frankly. I mean, if everything's going well, people don't even know you exist, and that's probably a preferable thing. Unfortunately, we have too much dumping and things like that, and I know you take the brunt of that, and you and your staff do a great job with less than limited resources, and I know that. And so I just want to say you've been a good leader, and we greatly appreciate it. And if you have caller ID, you don't have to answer David's phone calls.
Supervisor Royce.
Sure. I'd also like to thank you for your service to our county. The job that you did so wonderfully for so long for us is absolutely impossible. And John Randall, I think, mentioned highlights of that. But the history of garbage in this county is dirty. And there's been mistakes and things that we're still dealing with to this day. And the future of garbage is difficult, and I know you've been dealing with that. And I've been just learning about a lot of this stuff recently, but with diversion and all the state requirements, the reporting, and dealing with franchises, all these things, it is such a tough job. And you really have done wonderful at it, and I wish you the best in your retirement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Out of the mouths of babes. Garbage is a dirty business. I love it. And it will forever be thus. You've done a tremendous job as everyone said, a very difficult task. You will. I've never believed that anyone is irreplaceable, but if anyone comes pretty close, you're it. And so, really appreciate all of your efforts. I hate solid waste as a mission area, if you will. It's something that you have to deal with, and you heard my opinion of some of our citizenry out there that don't play by the rules. But again, tremendous effort. Like Randy said, when you're not noticed and nobody knows you're there, that means you're doing a good job in this one. And that's almost impossible because everybody has a complaint about solid waste, whether you're getting illegal dumping on your property or you don't like the rate increases. And we've been some of your not you, but we've haggled over rate increases before, and the fact that we don't really have a choice, and we didn't like the way the contract was written. But that's never been a reflection on you. That's a reflection on the system that was put in place absent you. So you have done a wonderful job managing a less than optimum situation. So I really, really do appreciate it. And unlike David, well, not unlike him, but I hate to see you go. I hope you really enjoy your future as a grandma. It's the best profession in the world, I would guess. Maybe grandpa's close, but anyway, good luck to you. Thank you for your service to this county, and may God be with you as you go forward and be the world's best grandma.
So I'm going to add just a couple more words because I agree wholeheartedly with everything that's been said. But in my tenure working with you and watching you, I think about all the changes in the evolution of the dirty garbage business in the last, in your tenure here with, how we collect paint cans, tire amnesty, all of the recycling challenges, and the list goes on. And every single one of those, I saw you step up and try and find a solution that worked both for the people that had to deal with it, but then our constituents. And that really was, it's a tremendous challenge. And you, it's not so much that I didn't hear a lot of complaints, but I actually heard the opposite. People would reach out and thank me for what you were doing and talk about the service and what it meant for Tuolumne County. And so you will be missed. You will be terribly missed. And, you're one of the few individuals that if I could shackle you to something and keep you around, I would be in favor of doing that. But the one exception to that is the grandma thing. And so I am really excited for you, and you're going to be staying here close, correct? It's the grandbaby?
Part-time.
Okay, well, I wish you well, and take his calls if he calls, please, because your advice and counsel is still going to be very, very valued, and we're going to miss you, so... At this time, I'd like to ask if there is any member of the public that would like to step up and make any comments. Shy.
Okay.
Duke York, Deputy Director in charge of Roads and Engineering. The Roads Department and the Engineering Division has always had a really good relationship with Belinda. We've been involved in a variety of projects over the years. And the one thing that we have from the roads perspective is in each and every one of your districts, there's a spot where they throw garbage alongside the road. No. Which of you claims Beer Can Corner? There you go. That's been our most recent venture, and we have multiple spots throughout the county. We also have multiple beer can corners, I found out from my road crew. But the landfill work that was done, both there in Jamestown and multiple little projects that we've done at other locations, Pinecrest, the one up in Groveland. And, we've been involved in a number of projects, Belinda and I, coordination with the road crews, the county mine site, the hazardous materials collection site, that all happened on your watch.
Start with Gretchen.
Okay, well, in any case, making those opportunities available to the public, I know that on behalf of myself and the Engineering Division and the Roads Division will miss Belinda a lot. And I really appreciate working with her. We've always, even when we've been a little bit, I'm going to shove it towards you and she's going to shove it back towards me. We always worked it out. It always got taken care of. And I always appreciated working with her. So, thank you.
All right, if there are no other members.
I think that's the only time you'll find most of my crew speechless. I'm not sure why, but okay.
Well, I'm only a member of the public, but I loved Belinda, and I would shackle you in a nanosecond because I just thought you were wonderful, and you and I have had many conversations and formed, I thought, a collaborative relationship to try to make things better. And I am this close to 3,000 pounds. Isn't that sad?
Let the record show that's probably 3,000 pounds that you've picked up off the streets. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
So I had the privilege of having Belinda as one of my clients. And there is nothing sweeter to an attorney's heart than picking up, the phone to hear about an issue and having Belinda say, well, the contract says. You always actually looked at the contract and followed it. I just thank you. But the number of programs that you kept track of, and the regulations, and the myriad of issues with the State Water Board and Cal Recycle and all of the state programs, it was mind-boggling to me, and I only got to touch parts of what you were working on. And I just loved our lunches that we would get together and just blast through all of the solid waste issues. So, I have a saying that solid waste issues always go sideways. But you've always handled them with such grace, and I'm going to miss you. Mr. Pedro.
Yeah, I'll keep this short, but I think Randy was referring to when he talked about forcing you to take the position. I'm not really sure what he talked about. There was one position left in the department at all times. We happened to cut your prior position, but the solid waste position was open. So you had a choice. You weren't forced. No, but just to say, Belinda's been just interesting to watch over the years. Now, look at the mild-mannered, sweet-looking smile. But I would bet I'd be in her corner any time of the day against anybody, because I've seen her when she gets her hackles up. I wouldn't be messing with her. But also as one grandfather, going on number 4, now to a grandmother, how many? Or how many you got? 2. Well, anyway, I really look forward to that day, too, myself, and I just really wish you well there, because that's what a joy you're going to. So, good luck with that in the future.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all for the kind words. And it's kind of overwhelming to hear all this and realize how much I've been appreciated, because you just do your job. You come to work and do your job and do the best you can. And it is really wonderful. So I appreciate all of you and all the things that you've said. And I appreciate the opportunity that I've had to work for the county. I started as a department support tech, and I was calling the former solid waste manager, Mark Rappaport, and Janelle, the former department support tech, all the time. And I am willing to be available also, because that was really important for me. And I have learned so much that I had no idea about. And both sides, I came in with some consumer recycling and from, knowing about that as a person who recycled. But I didn't know about the industry side, the economic side. It's been a wonderful experience, and I appreciate the opportunity to have worked for the county.
Thank you.
I tried. Friday at 5:30, she finally said okay.
She's also been recruiting.
But now we've said all those nice things, maybe she'll change her mind. Not.
All right. I know we have a 2 o'clock, but we are going to go to our last item. We'll see how quickly we can clear a room. Will the clerk please read item 18?
Reports.
You have
Reports now.
right? Reports. So I will start to my right. Mr. Pedro. Mr. Hanfeld.
Yeah, quickly, something I need to report out on is you may recall a little incident about 4 years ago called rim fire. 4 years ago, it was still going on. It wasn't quite fully contained. In that time, very little has been done to recover, and very little has been done in spite of a lot of talk on getting things done. So we met with YSS and the Forest Service, and the solution is for us to go to a master stewardship agreement. We're not the first to do this. Placer County has done this. The county, the best solution appears to be on the surface for the county to take charge and do that, work with YSS and the collaborative to try and make something happen. So what we're doing right now as we speak, and we'll be bringing this back to the Board of Supervisors as soon as we can get further along, But we are, Liz and I, and we'll be working with County Council's office, working on a draft master stewardship agreement with the Forest Service. The idea is to have YSS manage it under this thing, and they're working on projects that we can get started in the spring. If not, we don't get this started, salvage timber's over, and we have some risk of losing our mills and our infrastructure. And we need to push this thing forward. Nothing's happened on this program since Rimfire, and so we're working on that. And I just wanted to give you a heads up, so I'm going to be usurping a little staff time in order to get something in place that you can look at and peruse and consider whether we go ahead with this or not. Forest Service is on board, and YSS is on board, I believe, at the same time. So I've got a bunch of other stuff I can report on, but that's the thing that I know I needed to have you know and be aware of. Thank you.
Just one item. Last week, or this week, I guess it was last Thursday, attended a meeting in Yosemite, and they had a presentation on traffic and all the problems that they have with people loving the park to death. And what happens is that we have a capacity of about 6,000 cars. You can put 20,000 people in there, but the cars are the ones that cause the problem. So they're trying to come up with some ideas and plans to make it a better experience. But in a side conversation I had with the superintendent, he talked about one of the basic problems that he has, and that's housing for his employees. So, we don't just have a housing problem here in the towns or the county, but he has jobs available for people, but he doesn't have any place to put them. So, it's interesting how all this stuff fits together. We've got too many people in cars. He could manage the cars better, and he has the jobs for those people to manage, but he doesn't have any place for them to live. So, just thought I'd report that out.
Only one item. On the 8th of this month, I attended I'm not sure whether it's the 3rd, 4th, or 5th annual Annie Oakley Academy. This is an event that is ramrodded by my bride. The last several years, it's a fundraiser, and mostly for self-defense, survival, and those kinds of things for women. Men are allowed to come and eat at the end, but not allowed to the rest of it, as I'm reminded every year. But she managed herself out of a job because she bought all the dogs that the sheriff's department needed and got them all taken care of, and that whole program stabilized. She wasn't ready to retire yet, so she had another one this year, and I think they're going to start a trend. I'm not real sure, but this year was for search and rescue, and they raised over $8,000 that they gave to the Sheriff's Search and Rescue Department. So it is a great cause, and it is a great event. She has some people, some women that have been to every single one of those events. They love it. They ask her this year, when's next year's event? And of course, she hasn't set the date yet, but it is very, very popular. For the first time this year, they literally sold out about 4 or 5 days before the event. All the tickets were gone. They had maxed out their capacity, and they actually had they didn't use a live person. She asked me if I'd volunteer, and I said no. But they did hoist a dummy up into a helicopter as one of the demos, search and rescue demos. And interestingly enough, they put the dummy and they put people in that into a harness contraption that they call the screamer suit. And if you watch that dummy go up and it's spinning as it goes up, and yes, people do too sometimes, you know why they call it a screamer suit. Anyway, it was a very good event, very good and worthy cause, and they raised a good amount of money for our county search and rescue, which, by the way, I believe there's 2 or 3, maybe as many as 4 sheriff's deputies, sheriff's department personnel that are associated with search and rescue. Everything else is done by volunteers, folks, everything else. And, I mean, it's I don't know how many volunteers, it's double digits, that actually participate in our search and rescue. And they spend a whole lot of time out saving people, recovering people, finding people. So again, good event. That's the end of my report.
Ms. Driftwell.
No report.
Mr. Moore.
No report.
All right. I have just a very brief report. And the first thing I'd like to acknowledge is on Wednesday, October 4th, Commission on Aging did the Centenarians Luncheon, and that is just always a really fun event, and they honor those individuals that are 96, 97, 98, and 99 as the incoming class, and then the graduates are those that are 100 years or older. And I see Supervisor Hanfield has the list, and I was not going to read all the names, but I would just I would just mention those that were 100 years, or Reginald Chisholm, Harry Benoist Chisholm, Louis Faulkner, Jewel Gould, Joe Quintanell, Agnes Christensen, and Thelma Nagel. And these individuals were present. It was a lot of fun and great to honor them. The last thing that I'd like to mention is that on Saturday, October 28th, Tuolumne County is the Tuolumne County Take Back Day, and that is the Tuolumne County Sheriff's Department in conjunction with Tuolumne County Public Health, the YES Partnership, and DEA are providing a safe and confidential way for members of the community to rid their homes of unused or expired medication. This, again, will occur on Saturday, October 28th from 10 to 2 in the Junction Shopping Center near the Sheriff's Community Service Unit, which is the end towards the clock. Please, if you have unused drugs and need to dispose of them, this is a great opportunity. With that, will the clerk please read our 2 o'clock appointment?
This is a closed session, Public Employee Performance Evaluation Authority, Government Code Section 54957B1. The title is Human Services Agency Director.
All right. Is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment, we will retire to closed session.